is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So today we're going to look at some retail stocks. Today starts Prime Day. It goes from 8th through the 11th here. So we're going to look at Amazon, at Target, Walmart, Best Buy, and Macy's. Looks like everybody's trying to get in on the old action. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy so stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, first on the docket here we have is Amazon. Okay, now Amazon is not just a retailer anymore. What they are is, they're getting into that sports package. They're going to be doing games like on Thanksgiving. And so I just think Amazon, plus with the AI and the whole 9 yards that they're doing, and they're setting up these distribution centers, which is really, really nice. So they're kind of weeding out that the UPS and the FedEx kind of a situation, and the deliveries have been really great. So this is a good, I would say, if you need to buy a retailer, Amazon is the buy for me, okay? So let's take a look here at the old charts. Now, you can see here how we went right up here into that 224.29 level, okay? And then it just couldn't basically get through. And now we're hanging right around that 8-day, okay? So let's look at the downside here first. So it needs to hold at 220.91. If not, we're going to go on to this catch-all here at that 216.21 level, okay? Now, again, if that's lost here, we come down to the bottom here. You're looking at that 212 level, okay? We got 211. We come down here. You're looking at 207. Then we have this 50-day sitting at 206, and that 200-day sitting right there at that same at that 206 level, okay? But right now we have a good stair step going up here. So again, as long as we're that 8-day and that 21-day holds, this is on a nice, good uptrend going on up here, okay? Now, when we look here, we never really just get overbought. See where the green turns red, that got to an overbought situation, and then we just came down a little bit here. Now, again, see, we had this negative divergence. This is a perfect example. See how we had this high, okay, and then we had a higher high, but we had a lower high here on the old RSI, and then this is the result of what happens, okay? But right now here, we're just kind of like hanging right around. There isn't really that much. There's a little bit of divergence going on here, but overall here, this is still looking very, very strong. Your green is over your red, so we've got to see how it all shakes out. But the key to this is just watch that 8-day and that 21-day on the old support levels. If that's lost here, just watch that 206 area. That's going to be very, very key, okay? Now, there is a gap all the way down here. So if you look at this here, you're looking at 197.85, and then we want to look to the top of this candle here at 194.69. So if all these simple moving averages are lost, always look to those gaps and those fills. That's very, very key. Okay, here's the next one is 178.85, and then we want to look to the top of that candle at 176.78. The gaps in the fill. That's if this stock really gets hammered, then that's where we're going to be watching those levels. Okay, now on the upside, you're going to watch that 224.29 level. If we can get above that, and then we can just follow this candles all the way up here. See how nice this is working? So you can go like a 223 level. We have a 226 level. But what the level I want to really show you is right up here. This is that 234.81. There's your gap. And then look to the bottom at 236, okay? So your gap and your fill, that's going to be very, very key on the way up here. Always look to the left of the chart here, obviously at 233, but watch that gap and that fill, and then we have the retest at 242.52. Now, with that sports going forward, I think that's going to be a really good play with the AI going forward, and we'll see how all this Prime Day and everything shakes on out here. But right now here, downside, watch the 21-day. Upside, just watch that key level at that 224. If we can crack that, there's a lot of resistance levels here, but always watch the gaps and the fills. Okay, let's take a look here now at Target. Okay, here we had Target. Now, this stock actually got over $200 here at one point, and then they started with that nonsense, just sell your product, okay? That's all you want to know, okay? Stay out of politics, stay out of this, and stay out of that. Just sell your products. That's all people care about, okay? And you got to learn a lesson from this. Now, the stock traded all the way down to $87, and now here we're kind of slightly going up here. So on the downside, what you really want to watch is that 8-day sitting at that 101 level, and then we want to have that 21-day at 98.76, and then we want to watch that 50-day at 97.16. If we lose that, we have a target down here at that 90, and then we have that 87.35. Now I see Target is start doing a lot of advertising about dropping prices and all this and all that here because they want to do a little bit more volume in these stores. Okay, so that just might work, okay? But just, stop with that nonsense like Bud Light. We all know what the result was, okay? No matter what your opinion is, okay, you got to stay neutral. You got to stay neutral when you're a retailer, okay? So on the upside here, what we're watching is going to be 102, and then we want to go to that 105 area. Now, if you can get above that, well, look how many nice good targets that we got all the way up here, okay? So you got to look at it. See, you have that 108 level. We come up here. What do we got here? You got that 113 level. Then we have this gap all the way up here at that 112. Then we have that fill at 119 level. So we have a gap in the fill, and then we have this 200-day all the way at 122 level, okay? So there's a lot of good upside here if this stock and this company can get their act together. This thing could have a really good run, I should say, up. But right now we just have this sideways continuation. But however, sometimes when you get this sideways action like that, you build energy, and then when you build energy, that stock can rock up much, much higher, okay? Just like what the old Bitcoin did. It went flat, 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 and then bam, when she ripped, she ripped. Same way with the natural gas, okay? So here's what we have. You're only sitting at 55. You got plenty of room upside or down. Your green is over your red here, so this is not really looking all that bad. The key is going to be a close above that 105.97. Then we can march this bad boy higher. Okay, let's take a look here now at Walmart. Okay, look at Walmart stock here, okay? See, bottom left, upper right. They stayed away from all that politics, all that nonsense, okay? They're just selling their products and trying to sell it at the best possible prices. Now, I shop at Walmart here, but I notice that their prices are going up a little bit. Same way with Sam's, you know, for being a club and a warehouse kind of situation, their prices are not that good. They're not bad, but they could be a lot better. The gasoline, on the other hand, that's really, really cheap. That's like 20 cents cheaper than anybody else in town here, okay? So that is a good thing. But Walmart here is not doing really too bad. So what we really need to do is you have to hold this 21, that's at 96 level, your 50-day and your 21-day. Next level obviously is going to be that 94 level. Then we have a retest there of 93, and then we have your 91.50 level, okay? So there's a lot of good support here underneath. Now, the upside here, you really have to just get basically back above this top of this candle here. This is 189 level, okay? Now, if you can, see, then we have this gap in this fill here, okay? See how they had the 112 and about right here? And then we have this fill sitting at 102.55, and then obviously you can rally up to that 105 level. But right now, this is doing the same thing. It's just like a sideways action, building energy. Again, that can work both ways. It also come down, but it also could rally up here very, very nicely here too. So bottom line on the upside, just watch the top of that candle, that 189, and then next level will be that gap fill, 102.55, and then the retest at 105. Downside here, we just want to make sure that we hold these levels, this 93 level and then that 91 level on that 200-day. If not, she could come down and retest all these lows all the way down here at that 79 level, okay? But right now here, we never just get like an bought or oversold here in this area here, but we did over here, okay? So see where we have this high, then we have a lower high, then we had a higher high. And see, when you have that negative divergence, when it does play out, now it doesn't do it all the time, but when it does play off, this is the result that you'll get, okay? So always keep your RSI here on your charts. It works, not just measures relative strength, but also measures, you know, you can do the divergences, negative divergences, positive divergences, and a lot of stuff like that, which is very good. I'll give you another good example right here. See how we had this low? We had this low, okay? We had an even lower low, but we had a higher low. See this positive divergence, okay? Positive divergent. And then what's the result is? Like, went from here and rallied right on up here, okay? So always use that RSI. It works really, really good. Okay, next one, let's take a look here at Best Buy. Okay, here we have Best Buy. Now, with the tariff situation, I would think that they would have the most to lose, okay, because it's basically all imports, you know, kind of a situation. They don't really make anything here in the U.S. Most of that stuff is all, you know, imported, Samsung, LG, all this kind of stuff here. So, but again, the stock is doing pretty good, and their numbers here really overall, not that bad, okay. So here's what we just had. The last earnings was right here, and you can see where the stock bottomed, and it came rally right up here. But now we have this nice double bottom here. See how we put this low in here? You had this low of 64.31, and then we retested that bad boy with 64.65. See that double bottom situation? You always want to look for chart patterns when you're trading, okay? And if you want to learn the bottom, just go on my playlist. I got chart patterns on there, candlesticks here, and anything that'll give you an advantage in trading, okay? So we had that nice double bottom, and now we can rally up here. But you notice where it went, right into that 100-day, and then it stopped it cold. Now, if we look at this here, we see this a big green candle here, and we have a possible bull flag situation, which could take this thing higher. So what you're really looking for, if we can crack above that 100-day 72.24, you want to look at that 75.44 level. That's going to be next, and then we want to come up to the top of this candle right here at that 76.40 level. Now, I want to point out just a couple things. First of all, we have the 200-day if we break above that at that 81.26 level. But we have this gap up here, okay? See, we have 81.20, and then we have this fill right below this at 86.46 level. So we have this gap and that fill. So if we can crack above that 200 SMA here, okay, we can get to this gap fill and then possibly retest, what you have on this 91 level here going forward here. So right now here we just have this nice double bottom situation. See how we have this W pattern. So let's just see if we can get, and crack above that 75 level and maybe head to that old 200 SMA here. Now downside, you got everything pretty much sitting right here at that, say 69.91, say 70 level. Okay, and if we lose that, then we can come down here to the bottom of the candle. You're looking at 67, and then we come down to the 64 level, okay? So that's what you're kind of looking at. But right now here, the pattern looks pretty good here. It's just we have to get back above that 75.44 to take it higher. Now, when you look at the RSI here, well, let's say this is only sitting at 56. That's got plenty of room to run. Your green is over your red here. So this is all looking very, very nicely here, okay? So again, here was this we had this negative divergence going on here. We have a high. We had it retested. That was basically like a double top, and then you can see where she just sold right on off here. But again, this is a different kind of a pattern. There's your W pattern with a double bottom. So this is looking actually very, very good. Okay, let's take a look here now at Macy's. Okay, here we have Macy's. Now, Macy's was a good upper end store. Now, we have a nice mall where I live. And the Macy's actually pulled out of there. Okay, they sold the building. It was part of the mall, and they sold it was just separate. They had a Macy's that was like attached to the mall, but that was separate. Target is separate. Penny's those are separate entities. Okay, so Macy's sold their building, but they always used to do such a good business where I am here. But overall, I think Macy's will eventually pull it back together. It was just a nice, good upscale store. I just think the store got too big and they didn't have the merchandise to cover the kind of situation. But if you look at here on this Macy's chart, this is looking very good, almost like a Best Buy situation, okay? So you can see here where we had this high, that 1285, and then we tried to retest it here. You had 1224, and now we're sitting right here again at this 1274 level. So you have to close basically above this key price channel at 1262. If you can, we're going to come right to the top of this candle right here. Okay, so you're looking at that 1285 level, and we get above that here. This is going to be your target. It's going to be right up there. It's going to be that 1404 here on the old Macy's. Okay, now again, we crack above that. There's a lot of good stuff all the way up here. Okay, so you got 1443. We come all the way up here. 1586 here. We can rally all the way back up here to that $18 mark here. But again, the 200-day is going to be very, very strong resistance. But first of all, we have to get and close above that 1262. Now, on the downside, we need to hold that 1243. There's your 100-day. And then right below it, we have that 8-day at 1206. And then we have 1174, which is your 50-day and your 21-day. We lose that, you can come down to that 1054, and then lose that, you come down to 976 level here. But right now here, actually the chart looks not too bad. And right here, we're looking at only 62, plenty of room to run. The green over your red. This is a really, really not too bad chart here. If we can get and close above this key level here at that 1262, we could make a nice good run right there to that 14 mark here. So let's just see how this all shakes out. Now, Macy's still has this big online. They'll deliver and everything to you and all that kind of stuff. So again, I just kind of miss, going through the Macy's, and especially like at Christmas time and everything. We had a really nice Macy's here, and they're pulling out, just on a lot of the areas and consolidating here. So we got to see how that all shakes out. But right now, the chart doesn't look really bad at all here. We have a nice good consolidation on the bottom, building some energy. We can crack above that price channel, and I think we could take it back higher, at least to that 200 mark. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after the old pit close, and we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look at the old indexes, which are pretty much overall flat. I think all the traders are waiting on tomorrow to see what's going to happen with the tariffs. If people say, a lot of these countries say, we're not gonna buy to it, or whatever like that. So we got to see if they're going to cave, if they're not going to cave, or whatever it is. So it's all about the tariffs there today. So we got pretty much a flat market. All right, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.